Get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 and use the promo code presented by Prize Picks. Welcome to Light Years. Andy Liu, day eight of free agency. The ultimate tease from the Warriors. I don't even know what else to say, man. I feel like
should we just, should you, I don't know about you, but like maybe I shouldn't shave until the Warriors do something. Maybe you should. You have a beard. I don't think people are able to tell. I don't know what should you do? Should you not drink until the Warriors make a move or something? Like we got to do something here where it's like, my hair is gonna come down to hair by the time Al Horford signs or he retires or whatever the hell is gonna happen. Day 8, Sam. We might be doing this in day 48. Who knows?
Bro, did you see this online? Graphic of every team's moves in free agency, and the only team with no moves, the only team light years ahead, the Warriors right now. Shout out our guy Automatic NBA for the graphic. Kind of wild if you think about it. Like, how have you, like, I get not doing anything substantial and maybe me being disappointed, but like nothing by the 9th of July.
Even the Pacers traded for Jay Huff, who I know you like Jay Huff. You know what I'm saying? I'm just looking at this list. There's some of these moves.
Yeah, like a lot of these are
but still, no, that's a good move. The Spurs traded for Kelly Olynyk today. Just traded a second-round pick, whatever. Good player. Would have been nice on the Warriors. We would have done an emergency podcast. You know what I'm saying? Dante Exum re-signed. Solid backup point guard if he can ever stay healthy, just like half the Warriors. Good move. I don't know if you can blame the Warriors. It's just at this point funny. At this point, it's just funny.
So like, I'll put on my optimist hand. I'll put on my optimist hat, my torque for Kirk hat. There's still a lot of free agency left. Free agency is moving in a different way than it's moved pre the CBA. So I'm not sure we can compare this offseason to like 2 off seasons ago. 2 off seasons ago, this would be a nightmare. Everything would be done by now. And you and I would be like, what the fuck? No one's available. This offseason, not the case. None of the big restricted free agents have been figured out. Obviously Kuminga, which everyone knows here. But Giddey, Cam Johnson, Quentin Grimes, none of those guys are figured out. You still got guys like Al Horford out there. You still have D'Anthony Melton, Warrior legend out there. Bradley Beal is out there. There still seems to be trade activity. So it's not the same as 2 to 3 years ago. And I'm willing to acknowledge that like maybe this new CBA free agency takes a different cycle. Maybe it's more of a like 6-week thing and the big moves don't happen until the 21st of July. I don't know. All I know is when I look at this list, everyone's done something except for the Warriors. Everyone. Every team. Every fucking team has done one thing other than the Warriors. And you know what? If they get a Kuminga deal done tomorrow, and then it leads to 3 moves that were set up because they needed to know the number there and know what exceptions they have and what they could give Horford and what they can do here and that sort of thing. Then I'll get on here and be like, you know what, Mike, Kirk, you did it again. But I don't know. Right now, I'm just kind of like, really? 0? You're the only team who's done nothing right now?
I mean, they drafted 2 second-round picks. They traded.
Will Richard look nice?
Will Richard looks good. Did you watch Tuhey today? He looks a little. We'll see. TBD on Tuhey. If Al Horford retired tomorrow or he signed with the Nuggets tomorrow, I will be pretty pissed. Like that. Who cares about me being pissed? That will be a really bad look for the Warriors, where you are now, it feels like if the Warriors moved off of Kuminga or just did something with him, Al Horford would be signed with the Warriors right now. But because of what you just said, hey, we got to hold on to some money, whatever, figure out the actual dollars, then we got to wait. And as we all know, anyone that has been in sales, the longer something drags out, the less likely it is to happen, right? And so, yeah, Al Horford's probably going to sign with the Warriors. Like, I would imagine 99%, but because he's just sitting there and technically still unrestricted, like, can't the Nuggets just say, hey, we'll just give you, or can't just somebody go out and just say, hey, we'll just give you the money. Go play for us. We'll give you the full mid-level or whatever, $14 million. And like, well, I'll just take that then. Forget it. Forget our handshake deal. That's a problem.
You're bringing up a good point. Like, by all accounts, they have a handshake deal with Al Horford. And I know it's reported he's still considering his options, but the way everyone's talking about it makes it sound like he's going to be a Warrior pending something happening, right? That's me reading between the tea leaves. Boston is going to go into a 1-year tank. Doesn't sound like he's interested in being a part of that. Anyone who's watched Al Horford, their first impression would be like, oh, that's a Steve Kerr player. This is a guy who, how has he not played on the Warriors yet in his career, right? Like, it just basketball-wise, the way he passes the ball, the way he likes to play the game, he seems like he's always meant to be a Warrior, even if he's older now, right? Like, it's like the David West thing. It feels like there's an understanding there, and to your point, it feels like everything here is kind of contingent on another move so that they can officially give them the offer based upon what exceptions they have. But yeah, like, my fear is the same as yours. It's the sales one. It's like, you can only have a handshake deal for so long before someone starts looking elsewhere and being like, these guys are full of shit. These guys aren't getting it done. These guys are. What are they doing? Are they grinding? Are they grinding tape at Summer League, or are they setting up dinner with media folks to sell narratives? You know.
Well, I surely hope it's not the latter, but like the same goes for Melton. It sounds like that's another one. Like, you know, chat's kind of giving it to us with the Horford. So Horford's a great fit. It's a great move, and Melton's another one. Same thing. It's a great fit. It's a great move. Like, it's very good. Just those two guys, are they changing your team to make it a champion? No, probably not. But like, it's awesome. Like, if they get those two guys, awesome.
I actually disagree with you. Those two guys might make this a title team.
Ooh, that's a different conversation. Should we have that conversation right now?
Well, here's my feeling on the Warriors. You either believe Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond can be the foundation of a title team or not, right? If you believe they can be a foundation of a title team, then you're just looking for all these incremental things which help you get there. You know, getting a guy who can make Draymond not play the center 20 minutes a game in the regular season, getting a guy who can help you defensively, who can be a closing lineup player. Like, you're looking for like incremental pieces. If you don't believe that you can win a title with those three guys as kind of your core, then you need a splashier move. That's kind of where I'm at. And I'm not saying those two alone are enough, but the way I'm approaching this Warriors offseason is if they make a series of smart depth moves, I actually really like their shot. And that doesn't mean they're the favorite. It doesn't mean it's easy to get done. But I think just based off what I saw with OKC and Indiana this year, I think that's the way the NBA is going. It's a lot more of having 8 to 9 good players, being able to mix and match. You obviously have to have a superstar. We all believe Steph's a superstar. You know, you got to have a kind of a number 2. I believe Jimmy can be a number 2. And then from there, you just need you need as many Neesmith, Obi Toppin, Kassan Wallace, like these guys who just like fit around them, right?
My pushback is they're 55 years old. Like, can they win in a series? Like, in one series, can they beat OKC? Yeah, but are they gonna get to that series? I don't think so. Like, Steph is gonna pull a hammy. Like, is Steph gonna make it through 82? I don't think so. Same with Jimmy. Same with Al Horford. Same with Melton. So it's like, yeah, I think, yeah, if those guys or if I get to pick those guys in a series fully healthy, I'm with you 100%. But they're not making it through 82 games without someone that can score the ball. They're not making it through 82 games without somebody else that's maybe Kuminga leap, right? Keep Kuminga, maybe Kuminga leap. But it's like, that's asking a lot for those guys. Yeah, I don't think so. But like, the Warriors now are not like Draymond used to talk shit about 16 game. It's like, Draymond, you guys need 82 game players. They're going to be the 6-7 seed again even if they have these guys, because they can't make it through the season. So you're going to make the 7 seed again. Okay, then first round, you're going to have to play a really good team in the first round. You're going to play a really good team in the second round. And then you play the Thunder when you're dying after playing 2 7-game series. And Jimmy's going to fall on his ass, and he's going to be limping, and Draymond's going to be, shoulder here, ankle here. Like,
hey, we got Buddy Hield.
Buddy's good. That's a regular season player. Even though, you know what I mean? Like, he will be really good in the 82-game regular season. They need 2 more regular season players. And Melton and Horford.
I think, to be clear, I think they need 3 guys who are going to give you 20 minutes a game. That's what I'm asking for. I think Horford can give you 20 minutes a game. I think Melton can give you 20 minutes a game. Well,
Horford definitely can. Yeah, Melton, we'll see. Horford definitely can. Definitely.
But the way I'm looking at it is, all right, they need like a 10-man rotation, 10-man rotation. I think guys like Pods, he's going to be a workhorse in the regular season. Even if his offense waxes and wanes, you're going to get like 35 minutes of high energy. Basically every game he's physically available, right? Like Moody to a degree too. Quentin Post is a guy who can probably give you some minutes. TJD is a guy who can give you small minutes. I mean, these are small things. But what I'm saying is you can – I don't know that they need a ton. I think they need 3 like the right guys. Not like –
So they get 2 of these guys. Who's the third guy? Because we might be talking about the same thing, you and I. So they get these 2 guys, Melton and Horford. Let's just say.
Well, right now they have 0. Right now they have 0 of these guys.
So they have 0 guys. But let's just assume handshakes they work out. So they get Melton and Horford. Like, I think we're saying the same thing. Like they still need another.
Well,
guy.
Isn't that the Kuminga thing? Like, yep. What are you gonna get for him? Like, even if it's just a role player, like a 25-year-old role player, which in theory, like a 25-year-old role player actually has the legs to play 30+ minutes every night of the season.
Yep.
Like that sort of thing. So, yeah, maybe we are saying the same thing. At this point, I'm just frustrated that they have no one signed because that's what it really comes down to. I don't think the second half last year was fool's gold. I think if you put the right pieces around Steph and Jimmy, they can win games. But I also think what you're saying is fair, which is they're older. You're going to need more guys. You're going to need the right confluence of guys to get through the entire season. You can't expect Steph playing. You can't be asking Steph to score 30 a night and expect him to be physically healthy. So, I mean, like some of the names here, these are other downstream guys. But I feel like they need to go.
I think I'm with you now. I'm one level up. Like Malik Monk. If you tell me Malik Monk is something you get in a trade for Kuminga, and then on top of that you add in DeAnthony Melton and Horford, really, really good role players. Like now we're cooking. Like Monk is a really good regular season player. Is he going to play against the series against OKC? Probably not. Probably not. Maybe no more than 10, 15 minutes. But in the regular season, Steph is out on a back-to-back. Malik Monk might go for 28, right? So it's just like those are This is the one really. Bradley Beal.
Or this is the other part, and this is kind of why the Kuminga thing's annoying. Some of the chat goes, Beal would solve their scoring, shot making problems, and again, they can't really go for him until they have clarity on what's going on with Kuminga. And by that, I legitimately mean, do they have the full mid level? Do they have a partial mid-level? Like, what do they have? Like, you heard Zach Lowe talking about. Zach Lowe is saying, like, he thinks it might benefit the Warriors just to trade Kuminga for picks, which would then open up the full mid-level. And if they had the full mid-level, they could offer it to Beal and Horford and Melton. Boom. That's 3 dudes right there. And then you got your picks. In theory, you can put picks with Moody or Buddy to get, like, a better version of those guys in a trade, right? Because God knows we're not trading post Steph picks. Those things I go every morning. Every morning I wake up and I face towards Mecca and pray to the new post Steph picks. Like it's just like we can't trade those, dude. Those are the most important thing on earth. So if we can get picks from another team, that's that's good. You know what I'm saying?
Chat's loving the scenario you just threw out there. So I'm gonna run that back again. So it's you and this is not. I think this has been talked about in circles. So this isn't something that Sam just made up. You
No,
flip
Zach Lowe
Kuminga
threw it out yesterday, so it's kind of like why I'm bringing it up. Yeah.
I love it. It's you flip Kuminga, you get picks, it gets you under the tax. You get a first round pick, first and a second, and then you open up the non-tax pyramid level. So it's 14 mil. Not many people have that out there. You split that between Beal, who's probably really only getting a 2-year deal,
7.
probably 5-6 mil, 7 mil. You split that with Horford, and then maybe you get Melton with the vet min, or it also opens up. You can still use a traded player exception, right? I don't know about the biannual exception. Maybe you can use that because you're under the tax, right? So you can use it's a little bit similar to what the Warriors did last season when they signed and traded Clay, when they just
they let Chris Paul walk to open up essentially 30 mil of exception room.
Yep, exactly.
Which is what we're
do all this stuff. Yeah.
But that, I mean, like that,
remember
that might be the move. That might be the move. Like you can only do it if Kuminga is either gone or moved on like a 5 mil contract. But like all this, to your point, all this like gets back to we need clarity on Big John Kuminga here, you know?
Big John, don't say that. Don't say Big John Kuminga.
And that's what's annoying right now. And so, you know, before we get to that, guys, you watching the Strats game?
Of course.
I may have took the more on Bryce Harper. I thought he was due right now. That might not work out for me tonight, but sooner or later it will because he's a fucking good player. And for some reason, he's not playing like it right now. Anyway, guys, basketball season may be over, but the action doesn't stop on Prize Picks because baseball's heating up. Step up to the plate with Prize Picks and add your favorite baseball players to your lineup, whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, first inning runs. Make your call more or less and play for your shot to win. Did you see Jacob Mizrowski against the Dodgers today, just striking everyone out?
I loved it.
Dude, he looks like a creative player with some of those pitches. I was just like,
he looks 12 also. He looks 12 and he's just
it reminds me of like your point about superstars. It's like, dude, it's like, oh yeah, Kyle Harrison, he's a nice pitcher. Kyle Harrison did not look like that. You know what I'm saying? Kyle Harrison not throwing 101 with a 90 mile per hour curveball off of an unhittable fastball. Anyway, Prize Picks is the best way to get on the real money this summer. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports takes into real money all season long on Prize Picks. Guys, download the app today. Use the code LIGHTYEARS to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LIGHTYEARS. Get $50 instantly when you play your first $5. Prize Picks, run your game.
Light Years Podcast, we are brought to you by Factor. Most of us, me especially, dread drinking greens, but Factor Form changed the game. You will actually crave your greens. As the sister brand to Factor Meals, Factor Form was designed to work hand in hand with your meals, making better nutrition effortless. What is Daily Greens? What is Factor Form? It is a greens powder. You'll look forward to drinking. Just one scoop delivers 100% of your daily nutrients, filling nutrient gaps, supporting whole body health, and helping you feel your best. You could toss it in some water in the morning, throw it in some almond milk, some oat milk, whatever it is that you've got. All of them. So they've got a refreshing, citrusy, clean, and smooth taste that's actually enjoyable to drink. Mix a serving, single serving pack in anything, and you will be good to go. It's made from real veggies, packed with a whole serving of kale and spinach without tasting like it. In a blind taste test, Daily Greens ranked number 1 in taste, texture, and aroma, beating out the biggest names in the industry. I don't even need to eat vegetables anymore, especially not in the afternoon when I'm trying to go quick. I don't really want to eat anything I don't like. I just toss in a pack, some water, chug it, good to go. Within a few days, you'll feel a difference. More energy, less bloat, sharper focus. It's a daily habit that feels like a win. Tastes good, makes you feel better. So here you go. Start your day right with Daily Greens. Buy Factor Form at factor75.com/lightyears to get 40% off plus free shipping on your first order. That's factor75.com/lightyears for 40% off plus free shipping. Factor75.com/lightyears.
And so back to the prospective Kuminga for picks trade. The worst part of it, because if you told you or me this 6 months ago, I think the general impression would be like, that feels like not the ideal trade scenario, right? the worst part of it is I don't even think it's really that possible because there's not that many teams with cap space, and I don't know that they're going to be out here offering the Warriors like a first. You know what I'm saying? So even that feels kind of like to your point, if someone offered the Warriors a first that was, let's just say it was like top 8 protected, like, you know, they're not going to give it to you if they randomly win the lottery, right? And a second, I don't even, I would take that and run. I don't even think that's out there. I really don't think that's out there, to be honest with you.
You just ruined your own, you just ruined the dream. Just came out of break and just ruined the dream of just can't even get a pick. Yeah, I mean, that's rough.
And
that's
so like
really
that, this is like the thing about all of this is it's annoying they haven't done anything. The new CBA is weird. I'm not really sure if this is going to be normal or like essentially I'm not sure if we're totally fucked or this is the new normal for free agency in this new CBA. Like that's the thing I'm not sure about yet, and time will tell. But we, you know, Slater said this last week. Our guy, the Seagull, coming through, letting us know. It sounds like Kuminga this weekend. I'm be in Vegas. I'm be on the ground covering this for the Goons. He wants to meet with teams at Summer League. So I think we're gonna have clarity or some semblance of clarity, like over the weekend into Monday. I don't know. The whole thing, like to your point, like this is kind of pushing to worst case scenario, right? Because it's dragging. Like do you think he's going to sign a deal on the 10th? No, like based on this, he wants to meet with teams in Vegas. All right. Next thing you know, we're at the 13th or 14th, right? It's not ideal.
I mean, you're yeah, the last line, I think I'm throwing that one away. Things continue in the trend of a direction of a return. That doesn't tell me anything. But the meeting with other teams stuff is, oh my god, dude. Really? Does he? Teams can't just reach out to him. He just can't meet other.
Well, I didn't like the film, but then I met you and found you charming. So here's 200 million. Like, no, come on, man.
Do you remember when who was the Minnesota Timberwolves like owner at the time? Something, but he asked Wiggins like, "I'm about to give you this max contract. I'm you going to try now?" And then yeah, I'm gonna try now. And then fucking took the money and ran with a ski mask. Took that money.
Give him 3.7 rebounds per game for the next 3 years, baby.
Yeah. He's like
Glenn Taylor.
Like,
thanks,
come
chat.
on, man. What like Glenn Taylor? That's what it is. Like what are we? What is Kuminga gonna sit there and be like? Yeah, I'm gonna do all the winning, all the stuff that matters to winning. It's like no, dude. He is who he is. He's gonna do what he's gonna do. You know who he is. Not gonna change. You know what he wants. So I don't know, man. I just you're right. Like the longer it drags, it's not gonna happen this week. Sounds like nothing is gonna happen in between now and Summer League. If he's planning to meet teams in Summer League, so we're gonna wait another week. It's another week of Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton waiting, and maybe it's like we compare it to baseball. Like sometimes
maybe this is the new normal.
Well, like, hey,
that's such a copium take by me. This is totally normal.
What do you remember? Like Yamamoto, right?
Sure.
He took forever to make a decision because whatever. And it's like, well, before any other pitchers can sign, we got to go wait for Yamamoto to sign. Okay, so maybe that's what this is. I did not just compare Kuminga to Yamamoto, but just in the terms of like, hey, like we gotta wait for Kuminga to do something before some of this other stuff gets unlocked. Maybe I don't know. I wouldn't even call that copium. That's hopium. I got nothing.
I mean, yeah, it's like I can rationalize it all in my brain, but you know what I'm saying it to myself like. I don't believe
I just said it out loud. It sounded nuts. Yeah, I just
you said it out loud. You're like, I want that to be true. But do I believe myself? The answer is no.
I did not. No. I don't know. I honestly, I said what I said, and I honestly kind of want us to delete it. That was insane.
Someone's going to throw it back at you. Like, oh, Ed, you're such a homer. You're like, oh,
that was bad. We could do better than that.
Yeah.
We could do better than that.
On the
right,
topic, I feel like this is the perfect time to go into it. You see Draymond's thread last night. By the way, Draymond, bringing threads back. How much Zuck paying you, bro?
No comment.
Did you read it? Obviously,
Of course.
Of course. It's poorly framed rhetorical. Okay. So for those who haven't listened, he did a multi-thread thread on Threads. Sorry. Where he was talking through his feelings on CBA and free agency. And he goes, I'm sitting in my man cave having a conversation with my wife, baffled at the fact NBA free agency is over. Quite frankly, it never really started. Who ghost wrote this for him, by the way? This is not how he speaks. The level of anticipation living up to July 1st were as exciting as the fireworks on the 4th.
All right, dude.
It's excitement of the NBA Finals, yet only a week after watching teams spray champagne and ride on. I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore. One can only point to the new CBA second apron for absolutely putting an end to free agency as we once knew it. Sadly, I sit here, so many players overplayed the market, not understand what they're up against, which leads me to understanding an unstaggering percentage of guys have no idea the business they are a part of. And I, as a vet in this league, watch players mismanage their careers. And before they know it, look back like, damn, where to next? I can only go so far, but I really don't feel like typing it all. An insane amount, and then add to my personal experience. I have what I think is extremely unique perspective on this. I am obviously a player, a former amazing general manager, is one of my close friends. I'm very close with previous owners and current ones. I was introduced to the business at 16 by Joe Dumars. So yeah, all this is to say it's interesting to watch. Maybe I'll write a long form piece, or maybe I'll just do a podcast. LOL. All right, that sounds like Draymond. But regardless of where I decide to let these thoughts out, I should have been the Players Association president. I could have helped a lot. The league is great. It's been great to us. Amazing partnerships, players, staff, front office, owners, fans, well-oiled machine, and rightfully so. It's baffling how little players know about the business and how it affects the way most don't understand. Funny, I said this before, the last CBA, kind of beating a dead horse. And all before y'all run and make this about JK. It isn't. He's 22, will be great, and make a bunch of money. So it ain't got nothing to do with him. It's a lot there. Dear diary.
All right.
I have a lot of thoughts. I want to put it to you. What's the first thing that pops out to you when you read this?
Yeah. People kind of gave me shit about this, but this reeks of. We know that Draymond is very close with Joe Lacob. We know that Draymond fancies himself an executive, as we see here. He thinks he could have been the president of Player Association. Maybe, probably.
Might have done better than CJ, to be honest.
Honestly, probably. Yeah, I agree with him. I bet you he fancies himself as a pseudo GM of the Warriors. And this entire thread reeks of someone that's very frustrated with the fact that they cannot trade Jonathan Kuminga right now because there's no money on the market, and the rules are that you get to get half of the base year compensation stuff. To me, it reads, hey, we're trying to get moves done. Draymond's sitting there. I already recruited Horford. I got Melton back. I'm going to go get us Bradley Beal. You know, he fancies himself the big recruiter. I'm going to get us all these guys, but we're stuck right now because it's Jonathan Kuminga thing. But you know what? I'm going to wait to the end, and I'm going to say it's not about Kuminga so that I'm going to throw you guys off the scent. And so when he said that, I started crying laughing when I was reading it. I was like, yeah, no shit, this is about the Kuminga stuff. So that's my first thought, man. Like this guy, you know, in the room with Lacob, just as frustrated as Joe and all these guys. And, you know.
This is a man who's gotten some relationship fights because he's like, hey, this isn't about you, but I think we need to do a better job about taking care of the kitchen. Now,
passive aggressive. I hate that. But anyway, that's
that's just miserable. I think it's 100. Well, I think it's like 80% about Kuminga, where he's talking about. So he says the new CBA potentially is a hard cap. And I think his entire point is you got to know what's real and what's not. And this is actually one of my favorite things about Draymond, for as bombastic as he is. And as much as it seems like sometimes he lives in his own world, I think he's way more realistic than people give him credit for. He knew his market when he went to free agency and he got the contract he wanted. He didn't push for more. He knew what was out there for him. When he got that 4-year, $100 million offer from the Warriors, it's been reported both Memphis and Dallas were willing to give him 120. He knew his market was, let's call it 25 to 30 a year. And he went out and made sure it happened. He wasn't sitting here saying, I want 40 million because I'm the best defender on planet Earth. Contrast that to Klay Thompson, who, and Klay's a legend, but the Warriors offered him 24 million, and that was definitely like a charity deal because he wasn't getting out on the open market. He wasn't. And he was still offended that they did not offer him what other guys got, because in his head, he thinks of himself differently than what the market.
That is a great point. There's a great point. Yep.
And so with Kuminga, we've seen it reported multiple times. And again, we never know the truth for sure, but we can make assumptions based off of what people put out there in public. He fancies himself a star. He wants 30 plus million. That's been the reported number. If I was to take a guess, he was teammates with Jalen Green. Jalen Green got 35 a year. In his head, he's like, how am I not getting the same as him? Or like around the same? How am I arguing for 17, 18 and that guy got 35? That's what's going on in his head, right? And when I see Draymond's statement is, none of that matters, brother. What matters is you have to look at the market, see who really wants you, see what's out there, and then act smartly before you get frozen into a situation like this. That's the way I'm reading it. And like, I don't know, I don't want to be negative, but it's like, what's going to happen at Summer League? You think he's going to like meet with the Wizards GM and show him he's learned a fourth language, and they're going to be like, we have you penciled at 4 years, 60, but now here's a max that we don't have the cap space to give you, by the way, and we don't have the assets to give the Warriors what they want. You know, like it feels like his entire statement here is, you need to have a game plan before you go into free agency. Otherwise, you could get screwed. You're not, unless you're Braun, unless you're Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, like Luka, if unless you're that caliber of player, you better have a game plan, because you can get squeezed in really dumb ways if you don't.
I 1000% agree, and this is where, like, is this really about Kuminga, or is this really about his agent? Because it's his agent's got to realize this. Like, I don't fault Kuminga for not understanding this stuff. Like, why would he? He's focused on learning that, hezzy MIDI that he loves. Like, he's got to work on that bag, Sam. He's not working on understanding restricted free agency a year away. Like, this is on his agent. Should have pushed to sign a contract. Hammered
in his head that, like, you don't want to play this game.
If you play this game and Steve Kerr fucks you, which he has, because that's what Kuminga feels, you are going to get screwed. Do you want to sign the qualifying offer for $8 million? If he signs a qualifying offer for $8 million, his agent should be banned. He should just be fired and just completely taken out of the league for $8 million. And what happens next season? What happens if he signs for $8 million? He gets injured. God forbid he gets injured, or his value tanks, which is probably likely. Like, this is not Kuminga's fault, right? It's not up to him to understand.
Maybe it is his fault. Like, you don't know. You don't know if his agent advised him to do this and he said no. Like,
agent's got to do a better job advising. Yeah, maybe you're right. I don't know.
I truly don't know. But like,
I don't know. Yeah.
Someone in the camp fumbled. That's a fact.
Right.
Like, whether it's the agent, whether it's his best friend who has way too much of an influential voice, whether it's him, whether it's mom and dad, like, I don't know. I don't know who it is. I don't, like, to your point, like, I do kind of feel bad because it's like, it sucks watching someone, quote unquote, take bad advice, right? Like, he could have signed with someone. He could have signed the deal and been in a better position. The Warriors probably traded him, to be honest with you. But
if he signed the deal, the Warriors would have traded him already right now. Like, it would have just been the whatever deal that he could have signed for. Maybe it's just 4 years, 100 mil. Let's just say it's 3 years, 100 mil. Maybe he just signed for 3 years, 100 mil.
Chat's alleging the Warriors offered 5,120 and he wanted 5,150. I don't know. It's been reported the Warriors offered him something approaching 30. I also know how, like, that reporting works. Like, it's one of those where it's like, if you win MVP, you get this, like, type of thing.
Yeah,
so, like, you never know. But the point is, it sounds like he got offered something in the 20s.
But didn't you and I sit here all season and say, like, hey, based on what we're seeing in the CBA and the market, like, he's going to get squeezed. And if two buffoons like you and I on a podcast, pod boys, just two pod boys sitting here can tell them that it's going to be bad, I think everybody should know that. I'm not an expert, but we all knew this was going to happen. That's on them. Now, I think on the other side of this, Sam, too, like, it's also on the Warriors. Like, you guys are now in this position not because Kuminga and his agent are bad. You idiots should have traded him 3 years ago. Like, that's on the Warriors. Like, you dumbasses also chose to sit on your ass and wait until his value went down. I saw John Collins, we didn't even talk about this, went for nothing. Nothing. After Danny Ainge probably asked for, what, 2 first-round picks?
This is Kuminga's future. But I actually think these are, like, I'm a Dunleavy guy. I think he's a better scout than Bob ever was. Like, he's basically the first guy they've had that I think legitimately knows how to identify talent since, like, Jerry West and Schlenk left. But watching this whole thing, it does make me really miss someone who was an ex-agent like Bob Myers, who not only knows how to do relationships with people, he also knows how to read the situation and be like, guys, if he's not signing, it's not going to get better. Steve's not going to give him this. Like, this is not going to work out for us. Like, I just wonder if this thing plays out differently if Bob's there too, because let's be real, like, Joe's an awesome owner in a lot of ways, and also, like, probably not best people skills of all time.
No,
and that's not his job, to be fair. I don't know if that's Mike's job either. I don't know if that's Kirk's job. Like, they do miss someone like Bob who just, like, no matter what you think, he's very good at, like, getting people to trust him and get the relationship on the right page.
I love Bob. So, I'm going to agree there, but, like, somebody's just got to read the room and figure out what's going on. So this has been a really, I think, tough situation for, I just think, everyone involved, and it was completely preventable. And that's the worst part of all this, is this was not something that, oh my God, all of a sudden this happened. All of a sudden the salary cap ballooned and the Warriors can spend all this money on Kevin Durant and just bring in this extra max contract. Like this is all stuff that we saw coming. Like, hey, Kuminga's he's a development player. One, hey, the Warriors, they're not a place for development. Number two, right, especially with Steve Kerr here. And then number three, with the new CBA, you're not just going to get 8 teams out there with cap space. Like, if the Wizards and Kings at cap space, I believe that they would cash JK out. They would give him a 3-year, $100 million contract, something like that. They would, absolutely. And the Warriors, would I don't know what they would do, but, like, they would for sure. But you guys can't read a CBA? Like, I don't understand. Anyway, you got more thoughts? Before we get to other stuff. Yeah. Let's get some reads.
I got thoughts on my body, guys. If you're trying to get back into shape, the number one thing you need to know is actually have an honest assessment of where you're at. And our friends at Body Spec can help you with a DEXA scan. Guys, what's a DEXA scan? A DEXA scan is a highly accurate method of measuring your body's composition. For context, this is the thing that pro athletes do. Warriors get DEXA scans. The Niners get DEXA scans. Half of the Giants get DEXA scans. This is what you go in there. You get your body fat percentage, lean muscle mass, visceral fat, the fat around your organs. Really figure out where you're at physically so you can start that fitness journey. And what BodySpec has done is made this affordable for all. With the code LightYears45, you can get a DEXA scan for only $45. Traditionally, these things cost $500-$600. Super expensive, not accessible to the average Joe, not accessible to the average Andy or Sam. BodySpec has made it accessible for all. Locations in LA, locations in San Francisco on the Embarcadero on the Marina, and mobile vans that will come to you. Plus, they get an AI fitness journey. So literally scan you, tell you what's going on with your body, and then help you start your fitness journey, all for $45. Guys, go to BodySpec.com, code LightYears45, start your fitness journey today.
Light Years Podcast, we are brought to you by LinkedIn. LinkedIn's new feature can help you write job descriptions, get you in front of the right people with deep candidate insights. So listen, as a small business owner, you don't have the luxury of clocking out early. Your business is on your mind 24/7. So when you are hiring, you need a partner that grinds just as hard as you do. That hiring partner is LinkedIn Jobs. So when you clock out, LinkedIn clocks in. LinkedIn makes it easy to post your job for free, share it with your network, and get qualified candidates that you can manage all in one place. At the end of the day, the most important thing to your small business is the quality of candidates. And with LinkedIn, you can feel confident that you're getting the best. Let your network know you are hiring. You can even add a hiring frame to your profile picture and get 2x more qualified candidates. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lightyears. That's linkedin.com/lightyears to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Before we get out of here, our guy Franny Wagon actually asked me a fun question, and it's a little bit of a palate cleanser from what is increasingly dark free agency chatter. And I think we need it right now. So he asks us, with Looney leaving, makes me feel bad, where does he stand on the Warriors Mount Rollmore? Top 5 role players ever for the Warriors. I like this question. It's a fun question. I think we have to set parameters. Like, is Iguodala a role player?
Yes. That's tier 1. That's God tier. So he's the Andre tier. Yeah, he's the Andre.
I think it is so I think he is, but I feel like it's two different caliber of players, because like Andre used to be a star and he bought into being a role player on the Warriors, whereas Looney never was a star, and then just like, I mean, Looney's a stamped legend because he's like proven it in big moments out of nowhere. I just think they're different caliber.
Is Andrew Wiggins a role player?
Yes and no. To your point, if Andre is a role player, Wiggins is a role player. But like Andre, number 1 overall pick who got the bag, who averaged 20, is not a role player, So
yeah, that's Andre's. Andrew is like that poor man's version of Andre. So Sean Livingston is probably in the tier that I think Kevon Looney is in. When I think of this, I saw this question, I was thinking about it, and I was like, you're right. We got to put those other guys aside, where it's like Andre can do his own thing, Wiggs can do his own thing, but like Looney's in the tier, I think, of maybe a little bit lower than Sean Livingston. Like I think Livingston was just, excuse me, he was just there for 3 titles, just there for all of the beginning. So I think like
never started. He was always just like a reliable bench guy. If you threw him in a playoff game, you're like, I trust him.
Who else? Like, I think Otto Porter is another guy, but Otto Porter's only 1 season, right? So he's only 1 season. That's where Looney's kind of like,
but important for that 1 season.
Better
important for that 1 season,
right? Just right there. But those are names like Leandro Barbosa is right there for me, right? He was awesome. David West.
Bogut's a tough one. Someone in the chat's mentioning Bogut, and it's true. On the Warriors, Bogut was more of just like a fancy Looney, like a better, like but he was the first overall pick.
He was also first overall pick. Yeah.
And he made real money. He made real money too. GP2?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say those guys are all available. Where does Looney, let's say Bogut and Iguodala are available on this list. Does Looney still make your top 4? Because Andre is the godfather. I mean, Andre is dynasty level Mount Rushmore.
So you're saying those guys are available. So I would go
Andre.
We'll go Andre, Sean. Wow. I would go Andre, Sean, Bogut. And I think I would go Loon over Zaza, Loon over David West, Loon over GP2.
I might go Loon.
Yeah.
I might go Loon over Bogut, to be honest with you. Bogut's a better player, to be clear. And I think Looney would even say Bogut's a better player than him. Like that's not a controversial.
Well, that's not a question. Yeah, it's not a question.
But I think Looney, just by virtue of being on the Warriors for a decade, and like some of the Bogut was instrumental to 2015, and he was instrumental to building the team. But he was gone after 2016.
Yeah, that last part is pretty important to me. But I think you win. I think you're arguing Loon as third. I don't think I can argue against that.
I think what sucks about Loon is he's a style of player that, like, I don't know if we're going to see it again because, like, he's fallen out of the Warriors rotation many times, right? Like, there's been, how many times have you thought Loon was cooked?
Every season.
And so many different times Steve Kerr has turned to him when they're a mess, and he's done something. He's been an impact guy. Like the 2022 playoffs, the Kings series, like the first thing I ever think of is Steph scoring 50 in game 7 because that's iconic, right? The second thing I think of is him telling Kuminga and Poole to shut the fuck up and stay in San Francisco. I'm going to win this without you. Low-key a baller move, by the way. Low-key should have traded him right then because he told you right then what was about to happen. But that's a different conversation. The third thing I think of is that was Looney's series because Draymond was being a little clownish at that moment. It wasn't his best moments. And Loon had multiple 20-plus rebound games just owning Sabonis. And it was, it's like, I don't know how you're a Warrior fan and you don't love rooting for someone like Looney because he's not the most talented. He's had the injury issues. Half the times he looks like an old man who has no business being on a basketball court. And yet he's just the ultimate team guy, never complains, goes on light years even when he's asked, which makes him an ultimate legend. And it just plays with the heart, just plays with the heart.
I think the part where it's the sacrificing for the team is the part I think it makes. I mean, I think Steve Kerr was crying, in his video, saying goodbye.
Special man.
It's just one of those guys when you talk about a team, a culture, and all those things about. I think the Miami Heat have the culture, and the Golden State Warriors have their culture, and yeah, it's about Steph Curry, and it's about the joy and all that stuff, but like it also that stuff also isn't there if you don't have a guy like Looney that says, hey, you know what, Steph is a superstar. And yeah, he sacrifices and we fall in line. But Loon's also the guy that connects all the younger guys. Because from everything we heard, like Loon was the guy that connected all the younger guys as the Warriors went to this 2 timelines thing with the veterans. Like he was like another extension of like Steph got 4 kids, man. Like he don't got time to worry about more kids. So it's like it was almost on Loon to be like that type of that type of babysitter with these other teams. Like
I'm gonna teach you guys I'm gonna stay after practice and teach you all how to set screens for 2 hours. And none of you motherfuckers listened, which is, by the way, a different issue. But
like Kuminga loves him, right? Jordan Poole loves him. Like those are the 2 guys. Like I think those 2 guys are gonna have very long.
You're gonna love him in New Orleans, brother.
Every day I fucking pray that's
no, true. But it's to your point. Like it's an unsung part of a true team, which is like the superstar is a superstar, and the superstar has to have a certain level of humility, but they can't be the guy. There has to be like the the role player who just kind of is your culture guy. It matters. It matters. We're gonna miss him.
It goes back to
TJD, I don't know if TJD's ready to carry the mantle
no.
yet.
Although I'm kind of excited for year 3 TJD. I feel like, he's going to be better this season. But like
he grew
I think it's
the playoff beard.
He grew a
beard. That was very important. Yeah. He came back a better player. He got benched. He grew a beard.
I like him. Seems like a good guy, kid, I guess, a player. But yeah, all class from the chat. Guy was all class. I don't think anybody has ever heard a bad thing said about Kevon Looney, which is why they signed guys like Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton. Man, those are professionals, like absolute professionals. They
allegedly monitoring, considering
if they can get them,
appreciating.
The team resigns. Appreciating, dude. Show that video. I don't know. Maybe you don't have it, but that is the one of the legit funniest video I have ever. Just an absurd.
Lee Hammer. First off, the EPL creator space is just years ahead of American sports creator spaces. Lee Hammer is a very gifted Arsenal creator. Hilarious dude. I know some people here are familiar with his game.
I think
discussing.
Oh, you found it already.
The player edging close, using, perceived, pushing for the deal, scouting the player, weighing up the options, monitoring, discussing. They appreciate the player, edging closer, studying, exploring, flirting, leading the race, targeting, prioritizing, considering. Keeping tabs on the player.
Keeping tabs.
Agreeing personal.
We're keeping tabs on Giannis, baby.
Following. He's a concrete name. Luring. Gauging. In love with. How many more buzzwords do these journos need? Like, real talk. How many more buzzwords do these journos actually need?
Oh, it's funny because every notification I see is just a version of this.
Yeah, seriously, if I have to see our guy, if I have to see Jake Fisher throw another one out, what I mean? Just Warriors are at the forefront. You know what I mean? If I have our guy Seagull, yeah, Warriors PR lingo. This is just Raymond Ritter is just churning the PR. Just, oh my God.
Appreciate the player. I think we end it here. Appreciate everyone. We'll be back tomorrow night. We'll be back tomorrow night with 0 moves.